Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well. I've got another video for today, and today we're talking about how to increase your accuracy in Battlefield 5. Well, I guess you could probably apply this to like every Battlefield, to be honest. You know, there's a lot of sort of similarities. Yeah, so I've been known to hit high accuracy in games, you know, averaging like 35%, sometimes 40% with assault rifles, SMGs, you know, Sturm, CK383, you know, with recoil that's inherently random in Battlefield 5. So there are a few things you can do to increase accuracy in Battlefield. Talk about the recoil, the gunplay, there's some settings, play styles, and you know, some tips that we're going to hopefully help a few players out, you know, increase your accuracy and ultimately, you know, win more gunfights. If you're more accurate, you should be winning more gunfights, more kills. So firstly, we're going to go into a little understanding of the gunplay in Battlefield 5, of how it works. It's an important game mechanic to mention if you want to increase accuracy or improve with your accuracy. The game has been out for a while, so it's something you may or may not know about. But for context for this video on how to increase accuracy, there are two things to mention about the gunplay in Battlefield 5. And with that knowledge or understanding, you know, we can use that more effectively in game. Right, so number one, the recoil in this game is tied to the sight and not to center screen, which most FPS games are. So wherever your sight is, that is the point where the recoil will always go to. For example, say if you jump in gunfights, the sight will be jumping about a lot, so you won't be as accurate. So, you know, if you were to jump, I would only recommend to do so in close quarters. How this sort of affects play styles and stuff like that, you want to try and keep the sight as smooth as possible, you know, as much as you can in your play style. And a couple of settings actually to help you see your sight. For example, one thing you can do is alter your sight color in the settings, and the glow of the sight, you know, so it's easily visible, which I would recommend to do so. To your preference, you know, whatever color, whatever glow you like. I quite like the default one, to be honest. That's what I sort of rock. And another thing you can do is switch weapons while jumping corners, so the sight doesn't move as much. That's the thing in this game. You'll see me do it in videos and while streaming on Twitch. I do that occasionally, mostly weekends. I think it's more of like, it's only for more experienced players will know. I think you used to do it in Battlefield 4 actually. I could be wrong. It has been a while since I played that game, but trust me, it's in the game. And great if you sort of know someone's there. You know, you can jump the corner, switch weapons. The sight sort of stays more still, then it doesn't move about as much. You know, which way the recoil, like the way the gunplay is in this game, you're getting better accuracy. You know, the only thing you want to do is just watch the timing of it. With practice, you'll get it soon enough. It's I think it's more of a PC thing, to be honest. I'm not sure if you can do it as much on console, but on PC it's more effective, I'd say. Yeah, so the recoil is tied to the sight in this game. Number two is the recoil is inherently random in this game. It still works on a spread system, but it works differently. Keep it simple and without talking about it for about 10 minutes. Sometimes the recoil will drift off uncontrollably, particularly horizontally. It will affect the range that you can get kills. So some weapons are worse than others. Like assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs suffer the most. Sort of like the automatic weapons, like the Suomi SMG, Fastfire ZK SMG, you know, the BAR or the BAR LMG, quite known to have it particularly bad. Obviously the snipers don't have random recoil. The semi-auto weapons don't have random recoil, it's all vertical recoil. Yeah, so it only really affects the automatic weapons, to be honest. So how random recoil affects your play style and your accuracy is you play with weapons suitable for the map you play. So if you play mid-range, play mid-range weapons like the semi-autos. If it's close quarters, you know, you play SMGs, assault rifles. And, you know, just from making a video like this, you know, you can play SMGs on a mid-range map. But the key to it is, you know, you'll need to think about your rotations through buildings, you know, close the gap. on sort of likely gunfights, use smoke if needed. If you're caught out, you don't want to be out in the open with no way of being effective at killing anybody. Your accuracy will go way down drastically, and it'd be quite a frustrating experience. So my point is, you need to be using the weapons to its strengths and intended ranges, so you can be more accurate and increase your accuracy and get more kills. So I think that's all I want to mention for the recoil in this game, just briefly. Hopefully have a bit more of an understanding on how it works and how we can use it a bit more effectively in game. Right, so the next thing you do is to use specializations on weapons to help mitigate that horizontal recoil, and help your accuracy. There's a few that you can use that are very good. One of the better ones in this game is ported barrel. Now this one decreases your horizontal recoil, as I mentioned with the recoil. If this weapon's got it, you really want it just to tighten the cone of that horizontal recoil. Will help you with accuracy. Recoil buffer, kind of the same, but this one's more for less vertical recoil. So again, if you can put it on, that's great. Another one is high velocity bullets. So 10% faster bullet velocity. This will help with your accuracy. If you're hitting people faster with faster bullets, you can be quicker in them gunfights. You could be more efficient because the bullets are hitting them quickly. Another thing is custom stock and lightened stock. These two pair very well. So custom stock pretty much improves your accuracy in ADS while moving. Yeah, so you're moving in ADS, that's really good. But and why it pairs well with lightened stock is because lightened stock can move 60% faster in ADS. So that's why you pair these two together. So you're more accurate in ADS on the move. And there's a kind of, with accuracy and stuff like that, there's a kind of like smoothing effect when you have both of them on, and it's quite good for remaining accurate on the move. It's a good tactic in gunfights to move if you can. And it offers this sort of smoothing effect, I would say. Another couple of specializations to mention are more sort of hip fire related. So enhanced grips, that will make your hip fire more accurate. Another one is polished action, and there's a reduced accuracy penalty when hip firing, so you can hip fire for longer, I think. So if you want to go the hip fire route, these two are the ones you really want. Yeah, and I think that's it to mention for this specializations, particularly on the on the assault rifles and the SMG. Sorry. Right, so we're in combined arms, so we're going to talk about a setting which can help you with your accuracy. It's called the kill hit indicator. So essentially what this does is changes the color of the hit markers to show that you've got a kill, or that the kill is confirmed. Now why this is good for accuracy is that you know when to stop shooting, or if you're overshooting, or like essentially wasting bullets, which will ruin your accuracy. This setting will sort of help you with being efficient with kills. So say for example, ZK383, is 4 bullets to kill up to 10 meters, if I remember correctly. That's what you need to kill. 4 bullets out of ZK has 31 rounds in a mag. It only takes 4. Obviously not counting headshots, which will quicken the TTK. But yeah, that's why this setting is good, because it just shows you when to stop shooting. And with practice you'll get better and higher accuracy, and in turn be more efficient with your kills, and by being more efficient you'll have more bullets left in a mag to get more kills with. So more accurate equals more kills. It's kind of the same for every Battlefield really, and every FPS game. If you're just more accurate, you have more bullets to kill people. So the next thing is sensitivity. Now sensitivity plays a big factor in your accuracy. I do have a video on the channel actually on how to find your sensitivity, which goes into a bit more detail, if you're sort of interested in that sort of thing. But essentially, just to sum it up for time's sake, and for this video, you want to be at a stage where you are comfortable at your sensitivity. If you want to improve in your accuracy, you shouldn't have to think about aiming. It should be instinctive. I do think if you're thinking about aiming on a lot whilst in gunfights, your sense is probably a bit too high or a bit too low. Yeah, like I said, I did mention this in the video. of when it's too high or when it's too low. You know, if you'd like to check it out, you know, I'll leave a little link in the description if you want to watch it. Right, so I think we're at the point in the video where we actually get to how to increase accuracy. So I've mentioned about the gunplay, you know, I've mentioned about the recoil in this game, the play styles of weapons, using them to their strengths, you know, talked about how to use specializations to be more accurate, you know, to help mitigate the recoil in this game. Some settings also, you know, to help with being more efficient with kills, see the sight more easily, you know, and finally being comfortable with your sensitivity. So it's pretty much thinking about all the things I've mentioned together, you know, for my final point, which is practice makes perfect. You know, practice everything mentioned, you know, in game, or you can use combined arms, which we're in a minute. You know, I have used this a lot to practice in this combined arm mode, essentially against AI. You know, I'm a big fan, helps with accuracy a lot. Set to easy, get a quick 8 kills, you know. With practice, you get more accurate, you know, in turn, more kills. You should see sort of progress in your stats as well. With everything we've learned, you know, everything in mind, you know, I would recommend shooting center mass, like the torso area. You know, I do think it's good practice, especially with recoil in this game being quite random. I kind of feel there's a bit of a roll of the dice, or like RNG, by going for headshots with the recoil. You know, it doesn't mean you can't go for headshots using ARs or SMGs. If you do, though, I'd just keep it strictly close range. Just practicing aim in center mass, I think you'll be good to go for like accuracy wise and increasing your accuracy. Another thing I mentioned earlier about the recoil, you know, being tied to the sight, and you know how it affects playstyle. You know, keeping the sight as smooth as possible as you can. You know, like for example, like a sort of stop and start playstyle works kind of well. You know, keeping that movement to a minimum to keep the sight, you know, as smooth as possible. Now, it's something I could go into a great detail about, but, you know, for time's sake, you know, hopefully this is a good summary of what to do and how to increase your accuracy in Battlefield. Let me know if you like a sort of part 2 on play styles in regard to how using weapons, their strengths for accuracy. I think I could dwell a bit more on that. Yeah, let me know. Yes, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and to the end, if you stayed this long, very much appreciated. Hopefully this has helped you increase your accuracy. Actually, let me know if it has or not. I'm sort of curious to know, actually, in the coming weeks or months. So yeah, you know, let me know. But yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Still grinding, more videos on the way, and I'll see you boys in the next one.